Oklahoma starts the season with 4 home games. They host Temple, Houston, Tulane, and then they start SEC play against the Big Orange Volunteers. After that, they go to Auburn. Then they host Texas A&M. Excuse me. No, I'm sorry. That's totally wrong. It's the Red River Rivalry. That's hard to say. Red River Rivalry. There we go. Versus Texas and Dallas. Then they host South Carolina. They have to go to Ole Miss. They host Maine. I hear Maine's going to be a powerhouse this year. And then they go to Missouri. They host Alabama. And then they finish the season at LSU. So honestly, that's a pretty tough entrance into the SEC right there. They got some tough games on that schedule. What do you think happens with Oklahoma first year in the SEC?
So after I get done with this, the Oklahoma fans are going to find this video and they're going to be this year's Mississippi State fans. I'm not a believer. I see a lot of issues. Brent Venables, I'll just start at the top. Brent Venables is a defensive guy. As much as he wants to say he's hands off with the offense, he's a defensive guy. He went out and hired an offensive coordinator in Seth Littrell that is a dyed-in-the-wool air raid guy. He is a Mike Leach disciple. He has run the air raid everywhere he's been. Defensive guys get on the headset and say over and over, run the ball, run the ball, run the ball, run the ball. It's just what defensive guys do. Seth Littrell is not going to run the ball. He is an air raid guy through and through. So there's going to be immediate friction there. The other issue is 6 of their 11 starters on offense are transfers. So the five returning starters ran the old system last year. Now they're going to be learning the air raid, which is different than what they were running. They have 5 brand new offensive linemen, 4 of which weren't even on campus last year. They're starting 4 transfers out of their 5. You've got wide receivers who have never run this system before, and it's different. Like people think it's easy. Oh, there's only so many plays. It's very different. It's hard to understand when you're first learning it. So there's going to be a learning curve there, which is why I'm glad Tennessee gets them early. You're going to see it. They're not going to look good against Tennessee. They're going to struggle. And then defensively, Brent Venables felt that their defense lacked or lost so much that they went out and got a ton of defensive transfers. Right now on defense, they're planning to start 4 transfers in the front 7. Okay, so 4 guys who have never run their system in the front 7. On the second 11, they have 1, 2, 3, 4 more. So on defense, 8 of their top 22 are transfers. Okay, that means he was not thrilled with their depth. But there's one that I'm going to single out specifically. He's going to play the nickel, which means he's going to end up covering Tennessee slot guys. Squirrel White, I'm going to go ahead and call it right now. Squirrel White's going to have a real big game against Oklahoma because Oklahoma's starting nickel last year, and this is not made up, this is real. He played at Northeast Oklahoma A&M College. Northeast Oklahoma A&M College. That's like 7 letters in the acronym.
I hear they have a really good program.
Yeah. We're all huge fans of of Northeast Oklahoma A&M College. Yeah, that's how bad they got. They had to go find a dude at that school, and he's going to start. I'm not a believer. They're going to have to prove to me they can play. I think there's going to be major issues. And because of that, I've got Oklahoma going 7-5, losing to Tennessee, Texas, Ole Miss, Alabama, and LSU.
All right. So let me say this to begin with, and I think you're right. This is going to be the Oklahoma fans' favorite video over the next few days when I release them one at a time. I could see a scenario where Oklahoma goes 6-6. Losing to the 5 schools you had plus Missouri. It could happen. However, I'm going to say Oklahoma goes 8-4. And I think that, just like you said, they struggle closer to the first half of the season because everybody's new, like including some of the coaches, like everybody's new. And so I think they struggle a little bit at the beginning and they finish the season strong. So this is going to sound crazy, but I think their 4 losses are to Tennessee and Texas, because that's the first half of the season. Ole Miss, because Ole Miss is just going to be better. They lose at Missouri. They go to Missouri. Missouri always has one game. They always have one game at home where they play better than they should and they beat somebody. And then they're sitting there 6-4, and Brent Venables does something because he's a great coach and lots of fire under him. And they beat Bama at home after the bye week, because they get a bye week before Bama. So they beat Bama, and then they go to LSU and shock the world and beat LSU. So they finish the season strong. So they go 8-4.
You and I have a very different opinion of Brent Venables. I think Brent Venables is the stereotypical fantastic defensive coordinator, terrible head coach. I don't see him being a good CEO. I think he's a fantastic defensive play caller. I think he might be one of the best defensive coordinators in the country. But he's going to have to prove to me that he can be a head coach. I just don't see it.
Evan said bold take. Yeah, I know it's bold. I know it is.
By the way, the Northeastern Oklahoma A&M College are the Norse, N-O-R-S-E, Norse.
Hey, that's like the dudes that came to the 4 seed in the Knoxville Regional this year. Who was that?
Northern Kentucky.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Evan said they're going 9-3. They're going to lose to Alabama, Texas, and Ole Miss.
Evan, there is no way Tennessee's losing to that team early in the year. I'm just going to tell you right now, Squirrel White is going to have a career day on that poor kid from Northeastern Oklahoma A&M College. Whoever thought it was going to be a good idea to sign that kid?
AMC.
Yes, the Norse.
NEOAMC, 6 letters.
Whoever thought it was a good idea to sign that kid and think he was going to cover slot guys in the SEC? No, not happening.
Caleb said 8-4 losses to what? I love it. Losses to Texas, Bama, Tennessee, and Tulane, baby. The Green Wave. Hey, it's the beginning of the season, so maybe so.
My favorite part about this kid, the Oklahoma Athletics website got lazy and they didn't want to write out all of that, so it just says Neo A&M College.
NEOAMC.
Mm-hmm.
Herb said 6-6 or 7-5 at best. Carl said, great take, Rustin, on the Sooners. Caleb said Tennessee's going to score 70 plus. And Nico has over 400 yards passing. Sign me up. I would love that. I don't think they're going to score more than 70 points on him, but that you got to remember, that's Nico's first true road game.
Yeah.
And
I would predict that's going to be, you're going to see a steady dose that game. Because again, 4 of their front 7 are transfers. So I would predict Dylan Sampson's going to have a big game and Squirrel White's going to have a big game because he's got the poor kid from Northeast Oklahoma A&M College on him.
Well, and here's the thing. One it's going to take a minute for Nico to adjust to that environment because, Russ and I were both at the 2015 Oklahoma game in Neyland, and I'll give their band credit. They tick me off, but they intentionally just hold out a really long, loud note right up until the ball snapped. And they stopped playing it right before that ball snapped. Combine that with all the screaming fans. I mean, it's going to be an adjustment for Nico for sure. Sam said Oklahoma beat Texas last year. That's a very good point. That's a very good point.